Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. We are already having a great conversation. And, you know, sometimes I would love the opportunity to record the pre-show and the post-show on many of these episodes because Ken, thank you so much for being on the Pirate Broadcast. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're joining us before, in the future, you know, past, present, and future, it all happens all at the same time here, Ken. So
that's right. Welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, Russ. Thanks for having me.
You know, we have an opportunity today to really dive in, and we've already been talking about mindset, and it's something that really needs to be discussed, I think, especially in the entrepreneurial world. We've just gone through the last year, some amazing, chaotic, and challenging moments in the last year for a lot of people. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are actually flourishing. A lot of people are changing the way they think about things, the way they focus on it. And what can we do to change the way we see and perceive our life today is the question I want to talk about. So Ken, give us a backstory on how you got to be a mindset coach and a consultant and somebody that helps entrepreneurs out.
Well, essentially, probably I'd say going back about 16 years now, I started delving into personal development. At the time, I was involved in network marketing, and at that time, I got exposed to speakers, books, and I was really, from what I was learning, I was really blown away. And the question that came to mind for me at that time, I remember, was, why is it that we're not taught this stuff in school? And which is amazing. And the funny thing is, it's pretty well globally that it's really not taught in school of how to actually think and how our thoughts are actually having a direct result, a direct effect on the results and the experiences that we're having in our life. And anyways, from there, I just started to listen to speakers, read more, just get more immersed in the personal development world. And I just carried on from there. And I knew it was something at that time. I was, started to speak in front of small groups of people, then larger groups of people. And I was really enjoying it. And I felt, it just felt something really good for me, that it just felt natural. And it was something that I was really enjoying. And I just carried on from there and carried on learning about that. And I've been working with people over the years, and even more recently, I really decided to focus on being able to help especially frustrated entrepreneurs. How many entrepreneurs out there, and as you mentioned, over the last course of the last year, how many of them are frustrated at the fact that so many circumstances have changed for them. And the only way that they're going to be able to move forward is going to be able to adapt and pivot in some way, whether it is actually adapting and pivoting their specific businesses. But more than that, it's about shifting the way they think. Shifting the way the entrepreneur thinks is going to have the significant difference in the results that they're going to achieve, regardless of the circumstances that they're faced with.
Absolutely. The thing that always comes top of mind for me, and the thing that I kind of focus and reflect on when I'm thinking about big changes or big movements in my life, is the idea that in order for me to be different, I have to be different. I have to change in order to accomplish the future self. And one of the things that allows that to take place is how I think and perceive about the situation, the focus, the attention, because strangely, the only evidence we have to work from is the past, which is history. And so if you're thinking about the future, you have to imagine what it needs to look like and who you need to become in order to accomplish that goal, whether it's a satisfaction or removing that fear and frustration and that elevated anxiousness that we all feel when we don't know the answers or we don't have a system or a solution in place. And so how can we use mindset and kind of develop the future vision and start working on what the outcome needs to be and how we can start working on that direction?
Okay, so first and foremost, what really has to start, and anybody listening in right now, this is part of it, is the awareness. What I've found over the years as well, that there are so many people, including entrepreneurs, who really are unaware of their thought process, unaware that their thoughts are actually having this effect on the results and the experiences they're having. So the first part we need to start with is the awareness of the thought process. So very briefly, your thoughts are attached to, they create emotions. So if I'm thinking something good, I'm creating a good emotion. If I'm thinking something bad, I'm going to create a bad emotion. Everything in inverted commas, good emotion, bad emotion. What's good for you? What feels bad for you? Now that emotion essentially then is going to lead us to the actions and the behaviors that we are going to implement, which then lead to the results and the experiences that we are having. So if you were to take a certain area of your life and look at it, so if you were to look at your financial aspect of your life, your career, your relationships, your spirituality, your, all these different areas, your health. And if you took one area of those and actually looked at it and said, you know what, I'm really not happy with the results that I'm getting here. Now, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll look at those results and many times they're going to look for someone or something to potentially blame. Well, I'm in this situation because, my dad did this to me, or my boss is being like this to me, or whoever, or whatever the circumstance is that has created that. Rather than look at themselves, look at yourself and say, okay, how have I created this? Again, because many people don't realize that they are actually creating their own reality.
Yeah.
You're actually creating that.
If you're not a victim, you have to be responsible for your actions. You have to be responsible for the situation you're in. So,
and now you need
what
to be
I hear you
accountable.
say in the short version is that when you take responsibility for your actions, your results, and the way you think about things, that's when you actually regain control over what is taking place in your world. When you're a victim, you have no control because it's always somebody else. It's outside influence.
Always passing it on. That's right.
It's always passing it on. Okay, coulda, shoulda, woulda, he did this, whatever. I know that's easy to say, difficult to implement. So how do we transition? Because I know a lot of people are kind of stuck, and I'm not gonna lie. And at some point in time, it's really difficult to be responsible for your outcome. I'm in this situation because I did something. This is the direct result of my choices. And it could be good outcome, or it could be a less than desirable outcome.
Yeah. Sometimes when I mention this to someone for the first time about creating your own reality and being accountable, it is a difficult pill for them to potentially swallow there and then. But like you said, it's very powerful once you know that you are responsible, because now you can actually start to do something about it. And what's even more, which is really essential, is this, because it boils down to this, because your thoughts, it's switching your thoughts. Now, your thoughts, again, are connected to what you believe, because a belief is simply a thought that's been thought over and over and over and over and over and over. Hopefully I'm making my point clear here, until it becomes a belief. Now, interestingly enough, as you're speaking and I'm listening to you, Russ, you're saying something to the effect of, it's really difficult to, change your outcome, which is a belief, because many people believe that it is difficult. Many people believe it doesn't have to be, exactly. But the thing is this, when I am actually saying this, and this comes back to, what's your story?
Yeah.
Are you willing to change your story? Because if your story is continually, and it's amazing, sometimes your story could be just to yourself. You could be saying to yourself multiple times throughout the day, what a difficult day this is. I'm in such a difficult situation. Everything's so difficult. I feel overwhelmed. Everything is so difficult. And you're saying this story over and over and over. And all you're doing in your brain is thickening the neural pathways that are going to make those beliefs your truth. Because to you, that is your reality. You're saying, Ken, but this is exactly what's in front of me. Look, this is what's happening. And I'm saying to you, yes, this is what is happening. It's what's happening because this is what you believe is happening. It looks like your reality.
So I want to walk you down this path, because this is something that I have been processing, working on, and I'm all about personal growth and help, and so this subject is near and dear to me. And I know that my outcomes have evolved. I've had everything, I've lost everything, and in between. And I take responsibility for my outcomes because I understand that those were the choices I made. And one of the things that I was thinking about recently is a lot of the choices I've made in the past, and the story that I told myself is I worked really, really hard to get to a location that ended up being, instead of a dream, realizing my dream. When I got there, it was like, this is a nightmare. I don't want to be here. It's like, so my what do they call my chooser is really off. So I have to, because I imagine a future, I get to that future, and then all of a sudden I look around and say, this is nothing. This isn't what I didn't want.
Well, this is brilliant. And this is brilliant because, again, just before we were on, we were talking about perfection and how life is actually perfect. So although it may have ended up at the point where you go, oh, this is not anything like I expected it to be. This is not what I wanted it to be. One thing, it was perfect as it was, because that was the lesson that you needed there and then to potentially learn. You may learn it, you may not. The universe is very patient, and it will give you another opportunity to learn it if you have not.
So the perfection is in the lesson, not the
now, and partly as well. And I just wrote like a mini article or an email actually to about the fact that, and this comes to the, and we've heard it a million times. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's so true. This is why you need to come to the point where you're actually enjoying the journey, the process.
Yeah.
And this is the part that's really important for you, because although it may have not given you the exact result that you wanted, who have you become along the way? Along the journey. That's the part that's the most important, is that along the way, along the journey, you enjoy the process. You have fun with the process. So even in a simple, or as simple as you make it look right now, Russ, on a program like this, on a podcast like this, there are things that sometimes don't go exactly go right or perfect, right? Technology and this, that happens. Yet you can enjoy the whole process, even though it doesn't go perfect. Just like, my light is playing up for some reason today. We don't know why. It's one of those mysteries like we were talking about.
Yeah.
So, and enjoy it and enjoy the moment. Now, the amazing part is this, is that if you are able to actually enjoy each and every moment throughout the process, even when you potentially are going through some challenges, that moment that you are enjoying, those moments turn into hours, which turn into days, which turn into weeks, which turn into months, which turn into years, which turn into a lifetime.
Yeah.
And if you can look back and say, I have enjoyed the moments throughout my lifetime, is that not success right there?
Yeah.
That you were able to do that? And so many people, and this is where I really want to emphasize, even with entrepreneurs, we are taught, for the most part, entrepreneurs are taught by great teachers. But most of them, and I say this with the most respect because there's some phenomenal teachers out there, but most of them will tell us how much we need to suffer along the way. Most of them will tell us how much it needs to be a struggle along the way. Potentially you need to be away from your family for weeks on end, suffering to make your business work.
Yeah.
And what I want to defy right now is that it does not have to be that way. It is only that way because that's what you believe, because potentially you have been taught that way. So now you believe it. And if you believe it, it's the truth. It's your truth. But if you believe that you can have a business where, yes, you're going to go through some challenges, but that you can have fun along the way, that you can enjoy yourself along the way, that you can have your business according and live by and make decisions according to the values that you originally started your business off and for the reasons you started your business off. So if a lot of entrepreneurs, for instance, they start you become an entrepreneur and you want to start your own business because you want to have the free time that you want to have. You want to make the money that you want. You want to be your own boss and have that flexibility. And then you find yourself working 13, 14, 15, 20-hour days consistently for very long periods of time, which is completely incongruent to
With what you're
the original reason why you started.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why you start to feel stress.
Well, and I think you can find that story tied to a lot of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be entrepreneurs. It could be tied to successful careers,
Absolutely.
ambitious mothers, people in the industry and, actors and, creatives. And I think there's a drive with a certain intent on an outcome. And some people lose track of, especially new entrepreneurs, they lose track because they measure their outcome and their inputs against being an employee. And the outcome and the difference is so drastic that you have to tell yourself a different story. You have to craft that story and make sure that you're changing the way you think about your time and what success means to you, because it's not necessarily about money. It's about how I want to feel about the day. How do I want to spend my time? How do I want to enjoy life? And if you can have gratitude and find joy and all your needs are met, I mean, to me, that's a definition of success as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what's really interesting as well, as you mentioned this, and this potentially can happen to a lot of, I notice this a lot as well, is that sometimes we tend to correlate the fact that if someone is successful, so like you said, they're finding that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow they start to also relate that to the fact that they can't have the income that they really want. Somehow having that balance needs to make up their salary or their income or whatever needs to come down so that they can have that balance. Yeah. When you are really living in abundance with an abundance mindset, there is no limitation. You can have it all. There's no ending to the proverbial pie where so many entrepreneurs get stuck. They get stuck because they think someone is taking a slice of the pie away from them. That is a lack mindset.
The pie is always growing.
Not enough. The pie is never, there is no limitation. So this means that you can have the income that you desire. You can have the health that you can desire. You can have the relationships that you desire. You can have it all. There's no ending to it.
Yeah.
What needs to shift, though, is that way of thinking, that you actually believe that there is no lack, that no one can take anything away from you.
Yeah. I love that. Howard Kaufman says, great mind framing and perspective. Absolutely. Absolutely. Howard's an amazing individual here in Arizona, and he has a product that I use and love every day. Oral. It's all organic, and it's a mouth product. I brush my teeth with it, gargle with it, and
Okay.
breath spray. And he has a great mindset and an attitude that is abundant and giving and kind. And it's just people like that you need to surround yourself with and be involved with, like yourself. You'll feed your mind with the fuel of the future outcome that you're looking to accomplish. And it goes back to your lessons. Sometimes the experience we have is not comfortable because it's a lesson that we need to learn and a perspective we need to see. And the universe just gives us what we need, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, so it's really important that we tell the stories that we need to move toward, and we need to connect and collect people in our lives that are, think about abundance, think about thriving, think about the outcome in a positive way. And I just encourage everybody to, find some peoples that are positive.
Absolutely. We've heard many a time that, you're the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself most of the time. And, it is so vitally important. We need to, well, you don't need to, but I highly suggest that you start to become aware of what you are actually feeding your mind. You see, there's a lot of things going on, even if someone is simply, for instance, I'm very selective, for instance, myself, I'm not a big TV fan, for instance, but if I'm going to watch something, I'm very selective as to what I'm going to watch. Most of the time, I just want to laugh. I highly suggest that people laugh a lot every day. But a lot of people, for instance, it's an integral part of their day, for instance, is watching the news. Now, and we've heard this many times. Now, the thing is today, it's not a matter of just watching the news, for instance. As you're watching the news, you got a lot of things going on. A lot of times there's a smaller picture in the corner of something else going on. There's words along the bottom going on. And all of these things are going into our subconscious. We're not even aware of the fact that we're being, potentially people are being hypnotized without even realizing.
Yeah.
As someone is telling a story to someone, many times people get so engrossed into the story that they simply get hypnotized, and potentially they could be being installed with things in their brain that aren't really going to be resourceful to them.
Yeah.
So they don't even realize it, and it goes in, and now it becomes part of the way they function, and it becomes part of their story. So this awareness part, like I was saying, just being aware, and like you said, and seeing the outcomes that you truly want for your life. Beforehand, the mind, does not know how to decipher between what is actually happening right now and what's happening in your mind. So if you're actually visualizing something in your mind that you want to happen, and you create that emotion that makes you feel so good about what you're thinking about, you are literally creating your present moment, which is going to affect your future.
It's amazing
and
to
as
think
you
about that.
And as you start to do that regularly, and it's practice like anything else. If top of mind, for the most part, becomes if top of mind becomes so positive most of the time, good feeling emotions most of the time, then you're just opening the doors to the universe to provide you with more good.
Yeah. Open the door. Wendy says, pirate frame of mind. Welcome to the Pirate Posse, Ken. We're honored to join you in a light, healthy fire. Great things happen when energy around us is balanced. I totally love the pirate broadcast community and, the pirate syndicate and all of the things I'm doing. And the intention is to be able to shine the light on some other people like yourself, make sure that people have an opportunity to be inspired, feel like they're making a difference, making, that they can do something different. And I think it's so important for us to think about what's the positive thing I can add to my day or my thoughts or my inventory of education. What is it? And like you said earlier, why is this not taught in school? Why are we not teaching this to the youth to be able to be free thinkers and understand and appreciate how we can mold and formulate ideas and also outcomes? I've been putting a lot of time in, stoicism and minimalism and looking at how I can reduce the stress by reducing the complexity of my life. And all of those ideas and thoughts are really, it's just a new perspective and a different way of looking at things. And I think it's important for people to explore and understand how it changes your mindset, how it changes your outlook, and how it changes your life and how you feel about it. And it's really nice to be able to have that influence on a regular basis. And guess who's in the house? P-Dog Knight. FYI, I've been here since 01, watching while I prep for my thing. Hi, Wendy. P-Dog Knight. Oh, she's watching on Facebook. Never mind. Thanks for being here. He's an individual that has some great ideas. Go check out his YouTube channel, P-Dog Knight, over there on YouTube. And so, Ken, end of the day, bottom line, how do you like people to reach out and connect with you?
Okay, so right now, the best way for them to reach out and connect with me is, and I'm going to offer this to all your listeners, is that I have a free masterclass at this point in time that I've recently done, which is on the top 3 secrets that are preventing you from adapting and pivoting right now. And they can go to adaptandpivotnow.com.
Right here at the bottom, you got
there it is. Yeah, that's perfect. Lovely. I love it. I love how organized you are, Russ. It's amazing.
It doesn't always happen, Ken, but I thought it was a Friday and Ken's on board. Right. I might want to try it out.
Fantastic. Adaptandpivotnow.com, where they can get a free masterclass, like I said. And the other way that they could reach out to me as well is they could send me an email at coachmenowken@gmail.com.
That's fantastic.
So those are the best 2 ways for them to reach out to me. Go to the masterclass. It's free. You've got nothing to lose, and there's some really interesting stuff there. And then you might say, listen, I want to take this further. But and something I just want to add very quickly to what you were saying about when we're talking about surrounding ourselves around. There was a comment about being around well-balanced people. Mm-hmm. The amazing thing is this. And this is the part that is really, really, to me, intriguing, is that when you start to work on yourself and you start to make yourself well-balanced, it's virtually impossible for you not to be around well-balanced people, because you will be aligned with that. You will be at a frequency that is just aligned with that. And the circumstances, the situations, the people you're going to bump into, it's all going to be aligned with that frequency. So essentially, it all starts with you.
It's amazing how that works out. Ken, it's a pleasure. And as always, I really, truly appreciate everyone involved, everybody that joins in, listens to this at any point in time. If you found it valuable, like, comment, and share. Follow YouTube. Actually, the podcasts are coming out, Ken, just as an FYI. Podcasts are now changing. Instead of subscribing to it, you're following it. So follow, like, share, comment, all of the good stuff that allows more people to have this valuable information and help someone out along the way. So thank you, Ken, for being being here today. And
Thank
as you
you. I
know,
really appreciate you having me.
don't go away. I'll be right back. But kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate